Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and I've got the rookie playthrough here for you for the Pacific Cup Tournament. We're going to start with hole number 1, a par 4. The way we're going to play this one is to the left side with an extra mile 5 and a Titan ball. We're trying to get to the second fairway area to set ourselves up either for a Thorn or wedge chip to the hole. You can go with full topspin and some right spin and try to get to the green. Unless you have higher level clubs with about 5-6 bars of topspin, more than likely you'll just end up in the bunker. So for me, it's better to play the shot to the second fairway and give myself a consistent chance at the eagle with a short chip. As you see, we're going to go about 1 ring into overpower here on the shot. And what we do is we just subtract 1 ring from our adjustment and we adjust the difference. So we actually do play this shot to land about 1 ring into overpower without actually having to overpower the shot. We hit this one perfect. It's going to come in nicely and it's going to bounce and it's going to hit. We could probably take a little bit of topspin off this shot to be safe, but as you can see, 1 topspin still is okay on the shot, but I would play it a little bit safer, maybe about half a bar of topspin just to make sure you don't roll into that rough. So for the second shot here, we're playing with plus 10% downhill. We also played plus 15% on the drive, so keep that in mind. Plus 15% on the drive, plus 10% on this second shot. We're trying to land our shot here on the fringe. We're going to look for that ball guide to be consistent. Just remember, lower level clubs don't have as good of a ball guide, so it's a little bit tougher. But we're playing this one right here with no spin with the dart. If you do play this one with the Thorn, then we're going to play the one with a little bit of spin. Very minimum adjustments here with the dart club, which is always nice, but you still need to hit perfect. We don't hit perfect, and it definitely costs us the chance at the eagle here. As you see, our ball slides just by the right edge of the hole. Perfect hit, though, definitely would have been a good chance at the eagle. But I believe that's a very consistent way to play this hole, and it gives you a very good chance at the eagle if you don't like chipping out of the bunker or out of the rough. So for this shot right here, we went with a little bit less topspin. We went with no topspin, and we did clip the rough, but we rolled out, which leaves us right here at about a 25% Thorn shot. And, well, actually, it's more about, we played 50% on this one, I think. So as you can see, we're going to go with some backspin here. And, just a little bit of right spin to straighten out that ball guide. We're going to aim it right at the cup. And with 4 backspin, we want to get up there with our bounce pretty close to the edge of the cup. So we make our adjustment right here. We play this one at mid plus 10%. And we need to hit this one perfect to have a chance. And we do hit this one perfect. It gets a nice bounce off the fringe and rolls into the cup for the eagle. So, Thorn or wedge is what you're looking at if you land it into that second fairway section, which is always very manageable as far as the second shot goes. All right, hole number 2 here is next. We got a par 5, and this one we're going to play into the right-hand side with an extra mile, and then we're going to play our second shot with a big dog. We will be playing this one with either a katana or Titan ball. I believe I use a katana ball in this example. We'll play plus 10% on the drive, though. And we're going to use, full left spin, and we're going to go with 4 top spin on this shot. I wouldn't go with more than 4 top spin. If you do hit it, a little bit thick, you could go through that fairway into the rough. So 4 top spin is definitely a good play. I played plus 10% max here on that adjustment, and I don't use any curl, but you can use a little bit of curl if you like to curl your shots. We hit nicely. We're going to get the nice bounce and the roll, and that'll put us up in a good position. A curl could put you a little bit farther up and to the left, but I think our position is a-okay. So for our second shot, we're playing 0% here for this shot with the big dog. And what we're going to do here is, we just want to try to get our shot up to the green. So from this location, we're going to go with about 1 bar of topspin, and we just want to have our ball guide as straight as we can. I would aim this one a little bit offset just to the left of the hole to compensate for that left to right side wind. It is not a whole lot of wind, so it shouldn't result in a big time wind push, but just a little bit of offset definitely would help here on this hole. As you see, we hit this one perfect. This one was with 1 bar topspin, and it's going to come in here pretty nice speed, very nice speed. So we just needed to offset that one a little bit more to the left, and I had a really good chance at that albatross, but easy eagle, can't complain. Hole number 3 is next here, And this one is a par 3. We're going to play this one with a backbone with a plus 20%. We'll play a max adjustment on this shot. And you want at least 4 bars of backspin. If you have something with 4.5, 5 bars of backspin, I think that would be even better. But 4 bars of backspin definitely is sufficient. So if you don't have a backbone with good backspin, then you're going to look at your Saturn. If your Saturn's not developed enough, then Goliath would be your next choice. Marlin ball is what we're going to use here. And we're going to line up the edge of our top of our white ring up there pretty close to the edge of the fringe and the green. As you see, it's just a tiny bit of space between those 2 points. We make our adjustment here, plus 20% max adjustment. Make sure to adjust that wind perfectly, center your ball guide, and let it rip. Hopefully you hit your perfect, and sink it for the ace. Let's see how this one comes in. 4 backspin here, came in a little bit hot, but we still dropped the shot. So I'm going to show you another shot now with the Saturn. So if you don't have a backbone with enough backspin, then the Saturn would be your option to use next, in my opinion, as far as long irons go. So we're going to go with a little bit more backspin this time, a little bit closer to 4.5 bars of backspin. And what we're going to do is just try to line that ball guide up with the hole as best as we can, with that white ring, up there around the edge of the green. For this shot, you see the ball guide's the white line is a little bit farther onto the green. But I'm really looking at that ball guide is what I'm looking at here. We make our adjustment again here, plus 20% max. This time we do have the navigator ball in, and we hit this one perfect. Let's see how this one comes in. Nice bounce there and a roll, and oh, very close to sinking that one as well. So we really can't go wrong with either clubs, in my opinion. Just remember plus 20% max and 4 to 4.5 bars of backspin on the shot. Hole number 4 is next, par 4, and we'll be playing this one to the right-hand side. You can use a quasar or katana ball on this hole, whichever one suits you best. And we're playing this one with a plus 10% for the drive. And in this shot here, I'm going to be playing my shot from behind the right bunker and over. So max top spin and right spin is the way that we're going to play this one. We want to just watch that ball guide get over the bunker and go through those 2 little areas on the fairway. So we're playing this one with the quasar ball. Will be a max plus 10% adjustment on this shot. I would definitely be cautious about landing the shot too far up near that bunker because of this tailwind. You may get a gust that pushes it into that bunker on the bounce. So definitely make sure you have a little bit of room for your landing. We hit this one up the fairway and in a good position. So for our second shot here, we're playing plus 10%. You can play it with the Thorn or the Hornet. I would probably recommend going with the Thorn. So we're going to watch my opponent take his drive first here. He's playing more to bounce it in the middle. The only mistake he makes on this shot is way too much topspin. Other than that, this was a great shot from my opponent, and if he had dialed back his topspin just a little bit, he would have been sitting in a really good spot. As you see, he rolls through and into the rough. So definitely, if you play a little bit more of an aggressive line, be careful with the amount of topspin you use on that shot. Alright, so we're going with the Thorn here, and we're not too far from min distance. We're going to use max left spin on this shot and about 2 bars of backspin. From there, it just becomes a point of trying to find a location where you can try to find a consistent landing zone where that little hill doesn't affect your shot too much. So we're going to go with this spot right here. We just want to line that ball guide up as best as we can with the hole. And to me, this is probably going to be the trickiest part, is getting that perfect line up with that left to right tailwind and trying to factor in that tiny bit of push as well. So we make our adjustment here. We're going to hit this one perfect, I believe. We do. And this one's going to come in quite nicely. We are going to miss, just barely miss the eagle drop, but it was just a matter of a 0.1, 0.2 of an adjustment, so that could have been just a bad adjustment on my end. Alright, so I'm going to show you the shot where we bounce it over the left bunker now this time. You still play plus 10% max on the shot, and I did bump up to a katana ball so that I could have a little bit extra power for this shot. So like I said, you want to make sure you don't use too much topspin on this shot, just enough to get that ball guide over the bunker. As you see, we're about 1 ring into overpower. So what we're just going to do is we're going to subtract 1 ring of adjustment from our actual wind adjustment, and we'll just adjust the difference. Hit this one, and it's going to bounce over nicely, and as you're going to see, it's going to roll to a very nice little spot here for a much shorter thorn shot on this attempt. So here's our second shot. Again, plus 10% is your elevation here, and you can go with the thorn or hornet on this shot. You know, the same type of rules are going to apply. You want to try to find a position that's going to give you a nice little consistent bounce, and then you're going to use your spin and your backspin to line your shot up. So we end up with a little bit over 4 bars of left spin and 2 backspin here, and we're going to line up our hole again with the ball guide, and it looks like I aimed just on the left edge this time of the hole. We make our adjustment here. You want to make sure that you do try to guesstimate your club percentage as best as possible, and then fit that in for your adjustment. Just barely missed that one, as you see, right on the edge of the cup, very close to dropping it. So we're all over this hole. I think this is definitely a hole that you can dial in and drop during the tournament. All right, hole number 5 is next. This par 3 will be playing at plus 30% with our backbone, and I'm going to use a quasar ball here on this hole. We're playing about 4.5 left spin and 2 bars of backspin. We're looking for the orange ring to be just cutting into the bunker, probably about halfway into the bunker, and we're looking for our second bounce to be on the green with our ball guide going towards the hole. So it's right up here, pretty close to max distance. As you see, we're looking for the orange ring into the bunker and our second bounce just on the fringe. Just on the green. So we're a little bit aimed, looked like a little bit to the right of the hole there. Just looking at this on the replay now. We do hit this one perfect. We made our adjustment for plus 30%, and let's see how this one comes in. And it came in just left of the hole. So definitely a really good attempt. I think this is a hole that can definitely, if played correctly, you can get it to drop. Hole number 6 here is our albatross chance. I think this is our best albatross chance in the tournament, in my opinion, for the rookie. And what we're going to do here is on the drive, we're playing plus 10%. I would say use a quasar katana ball on this hole. I would go with a katana ball for our second shot. And for our drive, we're just going with max topspin and left spin. We're going to line up our shot here with our ball guide, second bounce just going into that fairway. And we're going to have our yellow ring and red ring. Looks like our red ring just a little bit more than halfway into that rough line. We make our adjustment for plus 10%. And now we're going to play our shot here. I'm going to use a little bit of left curl here on this shot. And it's going to bounce up very nicely to this next level, as you can see. So you have 2 options from here. You can go to the left shot, or you can go for the rough bump. We're going to play the shot to the left-hand side here first, which is a little bit safer of a shot, but I'm going to play a pretty aggressive line here with my backbone. So if you want to play it to the left, I would definitely suggest backbone. If you play it to the right, though, you need to prepare yourself and have the Goliath in for your second shot. Max right spin. As I said, we're going to play this one very aggressively at the hole. You don't have to play this aggressively if you don't want. You can just use a little bit more topspin if you want, and then line up the orange ring on the rough line instead of what I'm doing here. So I play this one at plus 10%. I want to give myself just a little bit of extra cushion on this shot, just in case it does seem to fly a little bit more than we think it should. And we're going right at the hole here. Great right would have been death for me. As you see, good thing we played that extra 10%, because if we didn't, we would have definitely gone into that rough. So playing to the left, I'd play 10% on your adjustment. Now, if we're going straight at the hole with the rough bump, we're going to play 0%. So with our Goliath here, lower level Goliaths don't have a fully developed ball guide, so you don't need, to go with too much topspin. You do want to leave that ball guide short of the hole and play that extra roll here with the Goliath lower levels. If you have a higher level Goliath, then you can go with the ball guide more into the hole. So we're going to make our adjustment here at 0% for our elevation. You find your club level, you make your club distance, min, mid, max, and then you make your adjustment, you make your shot. We went with a little bit of topspin here, and as you see, we get the nice roll, and we drop it for the albatross. All right, hole number 7 is next here, par 4. We are going to be playing this one over the bunker with a Berserker and an extra mile 5. If you don't feel comfortable playing it the way that I'm playing it, then you will just play the bounce over shot with a Titan ball, where you full topspin and right spin, and you'll bounce it over the bunker. And then from there, you'll set up yourself with most likely a longer distance Thorn shot. But for me, I'm going to play my shot over the bunker, which requires a Berserker. You could probably do the same shot with a Titan and full overpower, but I'm not wanting to go full overpower because the more overpower you go, the harder it gets to hit that perfect on the shot. And with a lower level extra mile, accuracy is not that great, so we want to try to achieve as much perfect as we can. We use a little bit of right curl. You see we do hit this one great, but it's not going to cost us. We're going to bounce way up the fairway now here, and we're going to put ourselves in a very nice position for our second shot towards the hole with the Thorn. So for the second shot here, I would play this one at 0% with the Thorn. You want to bounce it off the fringe or onto the green is going to be your best spot to land this second shot. So you want to find your max, your min, and then decide where you're playing this shot. We're going to play this one right about, I would say, 25%, which is about between mid and min. We're going to use a little bit of backspin here. We're going to aim this one right at the cup, and then we're going to make our adjustment here for the hole. I do offset it to the right edge, just to the right of the pin, just to kind of compensate for that right to left wind push. And I play this one at plus 25% here on this adjustment here. You want to make sure you center your ball guide. We hit it perfect, and it's going to come in, and we are going to miss it just to the right edge. So we should have gone right at the hole there. Lower level winds do not affect the ball enough, apparently, and we should have just played that one straight at the hole. But definitely a really good chance to drop the eagle right there. Hole number 8 here, par 3. This one right here, we're going to be playing with our Viper. You can also play this one with a Sniper as well. And this is a tricky hole to judge. With the Viper here, we're going to play, our 1.5 topspin. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to find the little funnel here. So we're going to wiggle our ball guide around until we find the funnel. As you can see, we found it right there. So from that spot now, we're going to put on 1 bar of right, or about half a bar of right spin. And we go with 1.5 topspin. I would go with only 1 bar topspin if I had to play this shot over again. But I do like, once you find that little funnel, then you apply your bar of right spin on that shot. As you see, we make our adjustment. We hit this one nicely, and it's going to roll and just past the hole. That was a plus 10% adjustment on that shot, and I played it at, I think it was mid adjustment is what we played. But definitely always check out your location of your landing zone to see where you're playing your shot at, whether you're mid, or you're min, mid, or max. Hole number 9 here is our last and final hole. I'm going to show you 2 ways to play this hole. First with a Titan ball and an extra mile to the right-hand side. We're going to go with backspin and right spin here for this shot. And you can also go with a Berserker ball on this shot to make it even easier. With a Titan ball, though, we're going to need a little bit of overpower. We're going to go with full right curl and just a little bit of overpower, not really that much even at all. So that's, not a tough shot to make. As you see, it's going to come in nicely with that backspin and right spin. It's going to spin it away from that left rough and to the center of the fairway. So we play 0% on the drive. We'll play plus 10% on this second shot with the Big Dog. I think the Big Dog's probably the best club to use on this hole for sure. As you see, we're right at max level here on this shot. And you don't need a lot of spin on this shot for the Big Dog. We're going to go with about 1/2 of a bar of backspin on this shot, and at this point it just becomes a matter of trying to line your shot up with the hole, and hopefully you get the right line on the hole to drop the albatross here. Definitely a great chance to drop the albatross from this right side. I think it's a better chance from the right than from the left. We made our plus 10% adjustment, which looked like it was at max adjustment, and this one's going to roll in here and has really good speed and to the right hand side. I think we hit great right on that shot, so perfect would have been very close to the hole. Alright, so for the second way, I'm going to show you how to play it to the left hand side with your extra mile. Still going to use a Titan ball. We're going for the double bounce here, so we want that second bounce to hit, so we're going to push up our shot to see our location. We're about 2 rings into overpower, as you can see. So we're going to make our adjustment, and then we're going to push up 2 rings. So we're going to need a little bit of overpower here on this shot to get our 2 rings of overpower. We hit this one perfect with just a tad overpower, and as you can see, this one bounce, and it's going to hit exactly where we had it lamed, and it's a perfect shot on the drive. Second shot, we're going to be playing just like we played it from the right hand side. We're going to play plus 10% with our big dog. We'll play max left spin and somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 1/4 top spin. So I find my min right there, I find my max, and now we're going to play it just a bit above mid club here, as you can see. If you notice, I always use my take shot button to mark my min location. That way it makes it easier for me to determine where my landing zone is, because I have my take shot button at min, and then I have my target at max, and then I can look and find where my mid is quite easily with that technique. We make our adjustment for the wind right here, which was plus 10%. We hit this one perfect, and this one's going to come in quite nicely. It bounces here. It's going to have just a little bit, it's going to lack a little bit of power to get to the hole, but it had a really good line on the hole with a little bit more top spin. We definitely would have had a good chance at that drop right there. So that was hole number 9. Appreciate y'all being around here for the rookie playthrough for this Pacific Cup tournament, and hopefully y'all picked up a thing or two, and that can help you improve your gameplay for this tournament. Definitely check me out on my YouTube channel. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to find us on Facebook, search my group on Facebook, Golf Clash the 19th Hole. We just added an expert tournament guide page, so definitely check that out.